Hey friends, welcome, namaste, thank you so much for being here. This video is a little redo or a remake of an old one that I did back in the day when Periscope was a thing, and did upload it here to YouTube, and it's been watched by quite a few people, and I realized that I probably need to just bring you something fresh and new, but also be a little clearer in the experience of and process of tongue scraping. Now, this is an Ayurvedic practice, and it's something that I personally cannot go without. If I had to pick between going somewhere on a trip and forgetting my toothbrush or forgetting my tongue scraper, I would much rather forget my toothbrush than my tongue scraper. I know that that might sound pretty wild to some of you. The practice of tongue scraping is obviously a really wonderful practice to promote oral hygiene, just like brushing your teeth. And I really believe that they're equally as important. In addition to this, it's incredibly useful to appreciate that cleaning the tongue and the mouth in general is a massive component of our digestive capacity and faculty. Digestive complaints and concerns are incredibly common these days and almost normalized, which is in all truth quite concerning. I do believe that there are so many simple practices from the Ayurvedic system that have profound impacts, but it's often those simple things in daily life that we ignore because we think it should be a far more complex or involved process toward healing or repairing or improving any complaints or concerns, specifically in terms of our digestive function. There are a multitude of ways to address digestion from an Ayurvedic perspective, but today, see tongue scraping as a beautiful new option and solution for you to integrate into daily life that really only takes a minute. This is my tongue scraper here. And this is made from copper. So this is the one I'm using right now, and it probably needs to be replaced very, very soon. But they do last quite a long time. Now, this is quite a slim and lightweight tongue scraper, and it does the job. Now, you could use copper, you can use stainless steel, you could also use silver or gold if you really wanted to, if you can find one. But metals have some amazing properties, but specifically copper is really, really revered in Ayurveda. And it's a very exciting time because there's a lot of peer-reviewed science and research now that's very much advocating for the health benefits and properties of copper that have been touted and promoted for a really, really long time. This is another example of a copper tongue scraper. It's a little bit more heavy duty, quite literally in weight, but also strength, but either or are perfectly great. You just use what you can access. And as a temporary solution to tongue scraping, if you are somewhere and you've forgotten your tongue scraper or you haven't got one yet, you can just use a stainless steel teaspoon on the tongue, but please only look at this as a very short-term temporary option. Before I show you and demonstrate to you how to scrape your tongue, I'd love you to also appreciate that the tongue is like a map of all the internal organs of the body. By scraping the tongue, not only are we cleaning the tongue of toxins or ama of undigested food, we are also massaging the tongue and therefore massaging the internal organs. So similar to Chinese medicine, where there are some definite clear parallels between Ayurveda and Chinese medicine, we look at the tongue as a reflection of what's going on throughout the whole body. Even if you're not an Ayurvedic practitioner and you really don't understand the ins and outs of tongue health, all you want to know really is, have I got a lot of coating on my tongue when I wake up first thing in the morning, particularly white, a white colored coating. And this is a reflection of a lot of ama or undigested food and inefficient digestive system. Also, for other discolorations as well, at the back of the tongue is really imperative to be noticing. So using your tongue in the morning, first thing, before you do anything else, do not drink anything, do not brush your teeth, don't even spit, but come and have a look at your tongue in the mirror and use this as a great diagnostic tool. And the more you do this every single day, the more you will be informed. You will notice these subtle or obvious changes, and this will inform you around the changes in your health and more specifically in your gut. The tongue releasing toxins is just like releasing toxins through sweat, through bad body odor or bad breath. Looking for this coating on the tongue is another indication of, toxicity through the body that needs cleaning out. And so through scraping the tongue, we can assist in this process. You will also become aware of different aspects or changes to the tongue, such as cuts or scrapes or what seemingly looks like abrasions. Also perhaps some scalloping around the edges or tremors in your tongue, or different textures or different general colors of the tongue. But also learning about the shape and the thickness of your tongue is a really great indicator of our constitution and knowing more about ourselves from the Ayurvedic perspective. Addressing a couple of frequently asked questions. How often should you tongue scrape? And when should you tongue scrape? You want to tongue scrape first thing in the morning. Again, before you spit, before you drink, ideally before you even swallow. So going to the bathroom, getting out your tongue scraper and gently scraping down the tongue, maybe 2 or 3 times, maybe more if you do have a lot of ama and a really thick coating there. You'll get to know what's best for you over time. Doing this first thing in the morning, and then of course following on with your morning routine, brush your teeth, have a warm glass of water, urinate, etc. First thing in the morning is best. First thing in the morning is ideal. First thing in the morning is when we're going to get all the benefits that we are seeking. Once a day is also perfect. As long as you're getting it in the morning, this is great. If for any reason you've forgotten, then of course, go ahead and do it later in the day. There's no real danger as long as you're not being overly aggressive on your tongue and creating any irritation. A gentle, somewhat firm pressure, which might sound a little bit contradictory, but we're not being really hard and aggressive or fast, but just smooth and slow and steady with a little bit of firmness to pull off any coating on the tongue. If at any time there is any irritation or pain or discomfort, perhaps because you have got some cuts on your tongue, go extremely gentle or skip a couple of days until your tongue has healed. Please use common sense. How often do you need to replace your tongue scraper? Well, that's going to vary per person and also how you take care of it. Of course, you want to make sure it's rinsed thoroughly under warm water after every use and that you're never sharing your tongue scraper with anybody else. The great thing about copper is its antibacterial qualities, but again, it's something like a toothbrush that is for you and you only. How to tongue scrape? Well, I've pretty much told you how, and I'm not going to do it in front of you. I've already done it this morning, and that might just gross you out. Not that I actually have any ama on my tongue, but still, the process in itself is probably a little bit too much. But literally, you're going to poke your tongue out and go up and down 2-3 times. Obviously, I'm not doing it for real, but you get the gist. It's as simple as that. You might run it under warm water after each scrape, right, to wash off whatever you've pulled off, and then give it a proper rinse at the end, and then just hang it somewhere to dry and make sure it dries thoroughly between uses. That is it. It's simple as that. But if you have further questions or require clarification, of course, pop a comment down below. And if you do appreciate and like this content, I would really appreciate if you would give this video a thumbs up, a like, because it does really help the algorithm get this video in the eyes and the ears of so many more people. It's such an empowering thing to know that we can offer people natural solutions and approaches to their everyday health. So may tongue scraping become a routine, everyday part of your life, part of the morning routine, and let it become as natural and habitual as brushing your teeth. If you have children, it's something that you can gently introduce to them in their life too as they get older. There's definitely no harm in doing so, and it's a really great way for you to also keep an eye on their oral and digestive health, but they can also be really empowered and independent and autonomous in doing it themselves as well, which is really, really fun to do it side by side. May we all continue to move toward a more simplistic way of living in alignment with nature. Thank you again for watching thus far. See you soon.